Hi everyone, and we're back with another video. Today, we're going to have the ultimate showdown between the gacha systems used in Hoyoverse games versus Sword of Convallaria. We all look forward to summoning in gacha games. It's the part we all have a love-hate relationship with. When you're lucky, you're happy. And when you're unlucky, it's disappointing and depressing. However, it all comes down to how forgiving the gacha system is and how generous the game is with summon currency. Given the popularity of Hoyoverse games, particularly Genshin Impact, Honkai Starrail, and Zenless Zone Zero, the gacha system used in those games has become the benchmark by which all other games get compared. It's just become inevitable, given the extreme popularity of Hoyoverse games. This is why other companies have just chosen to use the same system used in Hoyoverse games. For instance, the companies running Alchemy Stars and Wuthering Waves use the same type of gacha system as Mihoyo's games. But other games like Sword of Convallaria choose to go in a different direction. One of the most common comments I see for Sword of Convallaria is about the gacha system, and either Genshin Impact or Honkai Starrail get mentioned in the comparison. So how does Sword of Convallaria's gacha system compare to the one used in Hoyoverse games? Is it really as bad as people make it seem? So let's play a little game. I'm going to do a rundown of the gacha system features in Sword of Convallaria compared to Hoyoverse games. So here's the point system I'm going to use. I'll give 1 point to the gacha system that does that component better. I'll give 1 point to both if they both do it well. And I'll give 0 points if they both do it equally bad. Let's start with the banner structure. Both games have banners for new characters, a banner or multiple banners for rerun characters, banners for weapons, and a standard character banner. Pretty straightforward, and this is common across all gacha games, so they both get a point. What about the chance to get a character? Most games fall in the 1 to 3% range for obtaining the highest rarity characters. I've seen a few games set it as high as 5%. In Hoyoverse games, the chance of pulling a 5-star is 0.6%, with a consolidated chance including the guarantee of 1.6%. In Sword of Convallaria, there is a 2% chance of pulling a 5-star legendary character. So probability-wise, there is a higher chance of pulling a 5-star in Sword of Convallaria compared to Hoyoverse games. And for that reason, the point goes to Sword of Convallaria. Both gacha systems function similarly in terms of having a 50-50. In a way, the characters aren't really uprated at all. There is as much of a chance to pull the uprated character as there is to pull one of the 5 stars in the summon pool. So, it's a coin toss if you get the new character or not. I will point out, Genshin Impact recently added a new system called Capturing Radiance, which has the probability to proc when a 5-star is summoned, and ensures the 5-star summoned is a promotional character. Capturing Radiance is a great addition to Genshin Impact's gacha system, because it adds a bit of excitement to the summon system. Many other games have these types of systems. In some cases, a basic summon can upgrade to the highest rarity. Some games don't even have a 50-50 system. Look at Epic 7. If you summon a 5-star on a character banner, it's the character. And that change was implemented a year after the game's initial release. So the changes to Epic 7, and even the addition of Capturing Radiance in Genshin Impact, proves the game's gacha system can be changed for the better. With respect to the 50-50, I'm awarding Hoyoverse with a point, because of their latest addition of Capturing Radiance to the gacha system. Truthfully, I considered awarding no points to anyone, because I dislike the use of the term uprated when there is as much of a chance of getting a new character as there is of getting an off-banner character. The benefit of Hoyoverse games is that the gacha game includes a guarantee after losing the 50-50. Meaning if you didn't pull the promotional character, the next is guaranteed to be the promotional character. Wuthering Waves and Alchemy Stars include that guarantee in their summon systems as well. That system allows players to strategically guarantee the characters they really want by just saving the guarantee for that character's banner. This is a major point of contention among Sword of Convallaria players, because the game doesn't include that type of guarantee. So if I'm summoning on a debut banner, for Gloria for example, I could repeatedly lose the 50-50 when I pull a legendary, and have to go all the way to pity to get her, because the only way to guarantee a character is to reach the pity. For this reason, Hoyoverse gets a point, because being able to guarantee a character after losing the 50-50 alleviates a lot of burden on players, and the disappointment they'll have. It takes a lot of work and time to collect summons, and repeatedly losing the 50-50 feels awful. And the pity in Sword of Convallaria is 180 pulls. That's a lot of summons, and potentially a lot of heartbreak as well. Now the game does have another internal pity system, where at 100 summons, you will get a legendary character, but it's random. That also happens to be further than Hoyoverse's game's pity. The max pity is the same as Sword of Convallaria at 180 summons, but in Hoyoverse games, a 5-star is guaranteed after 90 summons, and there is also a soft pity, so you have an increased chance of pulling a 5-star earlier at around 70 summons. There is somewhat of a soft pity in Sword of Convallaria's system. The game tracks your total number of summons and the number of 5-stars you've summoned. When the legendary percent falls below 2%, you're guaranteed to pull a 5-star legendary character. However, this only benefits players who've had extremely bad luck, and their rate of pulling legendaries is abysmal compared to the total number of summons performed on their account. Basically, you're looking at doing hundreds of summons before this pity becomes relevant, but it does show your percent, so you can keep track of how close you are to the soft pity, and use it to try to guarantee a debut character. Both Sword of Convallaria and Hoyoverse get a point for the total pity, since they're the same. In terms of the legendary guarantee, I've chosen to give Hoyoverse the point, because it's less at 90 compared to Sword of Convallaria's 100. And for the soft pity, while both games have one, the soft pity in Hoyoverse games helps reduce the number of summons being used, whereas Sword of Convallaria rewards you for having bad luck, but a lot of summons get wasted, so for that reason, Hoyoverse gets the point. However, Sword of Convallaria adds the debut characters to the summon pool, and they're included in the double banners for rerunning characters. So you have the opportunity to summon characters you missed or skipped while summoning on new debut or double banners. Unfortunately, in Hoyoverse games, if you missed out getting a character, you'll have to wait for a rerun, which can take months or even a year to happen. It's also bad when they use the characters in ad campaigns, and people start playing Genshin, Starrail, or Zenless Zone Zero because of the character, and then realize they can't summon that character, and there is zero indication of when a rerun for the character will even happen. At least in Sword of Convallaria, whenever you start playing, there is a chance of picking up a character you've seen and were interested in starting with. Even if you missed their debut banner, you can always re-roll to start with that character. And re-rolling in Sword of Convallaria is very simple, and only takes about 10 minutes. Whereas there is no easy way of re-rolling in Hoyoverse games, and it takes a long time to get to the point when you can finally summon. So it's much easier to get the start you want in Sword of Convallaria if you're willing to put in the time and don't get overly greedy. Like trying to start with 5 or 6 legendaries. If you overcomplicate what you're trying to achieve with re-rolling, you'll just make yourself miserable and hate the game before you even start playing it. In this case, Sword of Convallaria gets a point for adding characters to the summon pool, and another point for having a good re-rolling system. The good thing is, both Sword of Convallaria and Hoyoverse's games provide opportunities to pick up 5 stars for free. For instance, Zenless Zone Zero and Honkai Starrail have the same system, where they let you get one 5-star guaranteed from the beginner banner, and another free one from a selector after 300 summons. In Honkai Starrail, they also ran an event that gave Dr. Ratio away for free, and Genshin Impact recently gave away a 5-star selector as a reward for their 4th year anniversary. Sword of Convallaria also has a beginner banner to guarantee one 5-star legendary character, and they also have permanent in-game events that give you 3 5-star characters for free. I'm giving a point to both because the systems are similar, and they're both giving players 5-star characters for free. The reality is, getting characters in Sword of Convallaria and Hoyoverse's games can be quite expensive. The cost per summon in Sword of Convallaria is $2.50. The pity is $180, so you're looking at spending around $450 to get the uprated character, if you had to go all the way to pity. The double banners with rerun characters are even worse, because you can miss getting the character you actually are trying to get, so it can cost you even more to get the character, compared to when you summon for the uprated character on a debut banner. In Hoyoverse games, it costs about $2.66 per summon, and to guarantee a character at 180 summons, you're looking at spending roughly $478.80. Both new and rerun banners function the same, so the cost would be the same. I'm not going to go into the weapon banner systems for any of the games. I'll simply say the weapon banners are as expensive as the character banners. It's another massive money sink that a lot of people skip entirely, simply choosing to use the free-to-play options. I'm giving a point to Sword of Convallaria for costing less per summon, and another point for costing less overall to guarantee a character at 180 pulls. However, Hoyoverse gets a point for the rerun banners costing less. When considering how expensive it is to get characters, imagine how bad it can get to max out your character's constellations or eidolons in Hoyoverse games. You need 7 copies of a character to max them out. And the dupes unlock ridiculous skills and abilities, offering a massive power upgrade to the character. And most players will never get to experience what those upgrades offer, because players often choose to collect more characters versus fully maxing out a single character. This is one area Sword of Convallaria does better, because in that game, once you have a legendary character, you can star them up passively by doing memory retrieval stages. Now, it is limited to once per day, and you have to use the character in the stage if you want their memory pieces. However, it is possible to 5-star your characters completely free to play. How awesome would it be if Hoyoverse had this system in place for constellations or eidolons? Sword of Convallaria clearly has the better system for maxing out your characters free to play, and reduces the need to summon duplicates. For those reasons, Sword of Convallaria gets the point. Luckily, every game provides players an opportunity to accumulate summon currency completely free to play. In Sword of Convallaria, you get 73 pulls per month, and 87 pulls in Honkai Starrail in 40 days, with 57 being given in the first 20 days. On the other hand, Genshin Impact gives less at 50 to 60 summons in a 40-day period, which makes it a lot harder to reach full pity for a character. Zenless Zone Zero gives the most free-to-play summons at around 100 pulls every 40 days. The free-to-play pulls from these games comes from doing dailies, weeklies, events, and general content. In this case, I'm giving Sword of Convallaria 1 point because it gives players more free-to-play pulls compared to Genshin Impact. However, I'm rewarding Hoyoverse with 2 points since both Starrail and Zenless Zone Zero give more summons than Sword of Convallaria, especially when considering the length that banners run. In Hoyoverse games, banners run for longer at 20 days versus Sword of Convallaria's 14-day banner cycles. The longer banner cycles gives players extra time to complete content in the game and collect as much summon resources as possible. Giving more time also alleviates the burden placed on players who are willing to spend money. For those reasons, Hoyoverse gets the point. Neither gacha system has a free daily summon feature that many other games have, which offers opportunities for players to pick up characters they don't have randomly one day if you get lucky. In this case, neither gets a point. This was an incredibly tight race. Both systems have positives and negatives, and if I have to be honest, I'm a bit surprised by the outcome. After tallying up the points, the winner is Hoyoverse by just 1 point. I told you this was a very close battle. I will say both gacha systems are imperfect, and both have aspects that they do better. I also want to mention I feel players place a heavier weight on a gacha system's inclusion of a guarantee after losing the 50-50. It becomes more problematic in games like Sword of Convallaria that have player versus player content, which Hoyoverse games don't have. Missing out on a character can be the difference between being able to compete or not. We see it all the time in Epic 7. You need to have an answer to a problem in PvP. And if you're missing important characters, you're going to struggle to remain competitive. And in general, players like to have an opportunity to pick up new and shiny characters because building and using something new is part of the fun of playing gacha games. And it honestly helps the games not get stale and feel boring. At the end of the day, games are meant to be fun. So I always think you should play games for what they are. And you could always give feedback to the developers. Games evolve over time, and there's always a chance for changes to be made to their gacha systems. Do you feel there was a clear winner in this competition? Let me know in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.